Hi everyone, it's Daniel Chin, the founder of Chin Properties and the author of The Manifested Millionaire. Now, today I would really like to answer a real estate question which I get asked a lot of times, and the question is, should you buy now or wait? And what to answer that question in these times that we're in, in the beginning of 2021, now the government of Canada is projecting the economy to grow 4% this year, and next year 2022 to grow 5%. And in the first quarter Q1 of 2021, there will be a contraction. It is expected there is a contraction because we're in a second lockdown. And so what does that mean? That means negative growth in the first 3 months of this year, and things will, the economy will contract, and it is more or less the same that has happened in the first lockdown of last year at the very beginning of the pandemic of mid-March, April, May, and we'll see the same thing happening at the beginning of this year. Now, as we know, the vaccines, more vaccines will be coming out in the next coming months, and hopefully things will get better, but it will it will be more in the middle towards the second half of this year, where you would see some some positive growth, but certainly in the beginning of the year, that's how the economy is looking. Now, when it comes to the banks, we have the government of, so the overnight lending rate of the Bank of Canada is 0.25%. And if things really does become, get worse in the economy, the job losses are being coming back as much as expected, and the governor of Canada, Tiff Macklem, they will even do a micro rate cut. They might even reduce the overnight lending rate from 0.25% to probably 0.1%, as you have seen in some of the European countries, where their interest rates are literally down to 0.1, and some have even gone to like negative interest rates. So they will continue to keep interest rates very low, which they said till about 2023, until things really get back to normalcy, and until all the jobs we really get back all of those jobs, and people can go back to work, and then and things are much better then. Meanwhile, the government will still continue to be printing money, which is monetary easing or monetary or stimulus, as these words they've used, and they'll continue to be printing about 4 billion a week, to really help the economy and for things to kind of get going and get back to normal, because people are still on the government programs receiving the assistance, and and some businesses are also receiving those financial relief, and until things can open back up, because we're right now in a lockdown, and that's what's happening in the economy now. So these are the changes you have to pay attention to when you're thinking, should you buy now in real estate or should you wait? Now, there are two types of buyers. There are the home buyers who are looking for a nice home, starting a family, right, having children. Now, the key question you have to ask is what you can afford. Don't get all crazy and emotional and hyped up because interest rates are very low. For example, so prime right now at the Canadian banks, the big 6 Canadian banks, is about 2.45%. And if you're a very high income earner, you're very strong financially, maybe you can get about 1.75, 1.8%, or HSBC has even introduced 0.99%. So sometimes it's less than a 1% interest rates you can probably get. So with the very low interest rates, it doesn't mean it increases your buying power, right? Still, sit with your spouse and on the table, write on a piece of paper what you can afford. Don't stretch your neck out too high to where, you know, you buy a really high priced home and then the debt levels are up to your nose, and then you can't breathe and you can't afford, and for what? So, like I always say, money problems is the quickest way to separate two people. So, do what you can afford. And of course, it's more like an emotional purchase when it comes to home buying. Now, on the other end, there are the investors. And the investors, because of the very low interest rates, they're always looking for the deals and the bargains. And what I've seen in the housing market, most of the properties, even investment properties, they are overvalued. And it is a seller's market, right, with the low listings or inventory and the pent up demand. And with the crazy low interest rates, you have some buyers, like investors, for example, they are, overpaying for properties, and it does not make sense and it does not make money. So as a disciplined investor, I always say that whatever it is you're buying, it has to make money and it has to make sense. So you have to be very disciplined as an investor and at least buy the good real estate in the good locations. Don't just buy because it's a nice price, the property looks nice. Do your due diligence and do your homework. And of course, don't, ride that wave like everyone was getting all hyped up in 2006 and 7, and then the market crashed in 2008 and people lost their everything, and it was horrible. So as an investor, you have to be very disciplined and do expect that in the next 2 years there could be a big correction in the market, right? There could be a big financial crisis. So whatever investment you're purchasing, at least make sure that it is a good long-term investment that will sustain, and survive and be recession-proof or even a depression-proof in the next coming years, and for a long time, horizon 10, 20 years out as well. So the valuations, you have to really be disciplined about when you're buying these assets, because I believe it really is overvalued. The real estate market turned from fraudy to crazy, and it's like a frenzy, with all these people trying to take advantage of the very low interest rates. So before I used to say, yes, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. But what I will say is be disciplined and patient. And then when you see an opportunity that's undervalued or a potential opportunity, then you strike and you take advantage of it, right? And so those are some things to think about, if you should buy now or you should wait. And it doesn't have to be something, it's not a simple answer. If you're a home buyer, then it's more of an emotional purchase, lots of thinking to do. If you're an investor, right? If you're an investor, don't skip steps in your due diligence, right? Because it's not about all the looks, how good you look, or you bought another property, and etc. etc. It's did you, are you really truly financially doing good, right? Don't borrow putting 5% down payment and then high ratio mortgages, and then of course high ratio mortgages, which means a larger mortgage and a larger monthly mortgage payments, and then the numbers doesn't make sense. The investment property can't sustain the debts or service the debts, and then you're not really cash flowing, right? You got to know what it is you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose money. If you know what you're doing, you'll make money. So hopefully that answers the question and gives you some perspective on what's happening in the economy, and if it is a good time to buy now or to wait. So thank you very much for listening, and it's a pleasure making these videos. And if you like, you can like or subscribe, and I'll make more to answer some of your real estate questions. So thank you very much.